So I've been using the Honor 10 Lite for a week now, and it is a mid-range smartphone from Honor, and it has got quite a praise internationally for its price and performance, and it is available in Nepal for a price around 25,000. And I have a lot of things to say about it, so let's get started. So let's start with the design of the Honor 10 Lite. The back of the phone is made up of plastic that looks and feels like glass to me, and it has this gradient color scheme. In our model, the blue at the bottom goes on to meet the hazy silver at the top, and this color is called Sapphire Blue. Well, there are other colors available, and they are called midnight black, sky blue, white and red. Well, the gradient design looks cool, but by now we've seen so many phones with this design that it does not surprise us anymore. However, I will say that Honor's minimal approach is very appealing. The build quality of this phone is top-notch. This glass back curves to meet the plastic sides, which themselves follow a parabolic path to meet the screen at the front. And this makes the phone feel sturdy in the hand. It also makes it feel thinner than it actually is. And though the sides are made of plastic, they didn't feel cheap at all. Also, while we are talking about design, I would like to say that Honor has made their button placement very good. The power button is right where my thumb rests, and the volume button is also in a good place. And the fingerprint sensor is also at the right height. Now at the front, the bezels are minimal and the chin at the bottom is small as well. There's a water drop notch at the top, and again, these are good design choices but nothing extraordinary. Though I will praise Honor for keeping the chin so small, where the other budget phones tend to live this big. Now as we are talking about the front portion of the device, let's talk about the screen. This is a 6.21-inch 19.5:9 aspect ratio FHD Plus LCD display. So the colors aren't as punchy as on the AMOLED display, neither does the display get bright enough. Well, you can figure out the text and images in your screen when you look at it head-on in bright sunlight, but the smudges from your fingerprints are so prominent on the screen that they'll make you want to find a shade. So the overall quality of the display isn't that great. I noticed some grain when watching 1080p videos, and I don't know if it's the panel or the videos themselves, but it was prominent in more than one video. But for the price, Honor screen is just fine. If you haven't used any AMOLED screen before, you won't notice a thing here. You can power up the device using the power button and unlock it the old way using pin, or you can also use the face unlock, which is surprisingly fast and accurate on a device at this price. Or you can also use the fingerprint sensor at the back, which is as accurate as a fingerprint sensor can get. Well, this unlocks the phone near instantaneously. So the biometric unlocking methods on the Honor 10 Lite has been a joy to use. Now once you power up the screen, you are greeted with a normal EMUI layout. There is no app drawer by default. You have to enable the app drawer by going into home style settings. Navigating through the UI was fast and fluid throughout the time that I used this phone. The animations are simple, subtle and fast. Apps like Instagram and Facebook run with no complaints. YouTube runs fine too, except for that grainy display issue that I talked about earlier. The sound is fired sideways by this mono speaker at the bottom of the device, and it gets plenty loud, but it starts to sound distorted after 80%, and 80% is still loud enough for watching YouTube. However, I've heard better speakers, especially on Xiaomi phones at this price tag. Now I played two games on this phone. The first one was Alto's Odyssey, and here the visuals looked stunning and the display showed no signs of grain. The game ran smooth, but I did notice some skipped frames 3 times in 10 minutes, but this was not an annoying stutter or a lag, and so it didn't distract me while playing the game. Next was PUBG, and I didn't expect this game to run as good as it did on this phone. I didn't notice a single lag or stutter while playing the game in the settings that PUBG selected for me by default. That means medium graphics. I played a solo match for 45 minutes until chicken dinner, and the phone only lost 10% battery. And now talking about the battery on the Honor 10 Lite, it is quite good. It only lost around 10% of battery after 45 minutes of PUBG and about 6% of battery after 30 minutes of YouTube on Wi-Fi. So the battery on the Honor 10 Lite will last you a day easily on moderate uses. And now talking about the charging speed of the Honor 10 Lite, it is kind of slow because it only supports 10-watt charger. But since the battery lasts you all day and you can charge it overnight, and that makes the battery problem lesser problem, I guess. Now let's talk about the camera. Honor 10 Lite has a dual camera setup at the back. There's a 13MP f1.8 primary lens and a 2MP f2.4 depth sensor. The 2MP camera is just for depth mapping to help you with things like portrait shots. So the 13MP camera will be the one to capture your photo always. The number one characteristics of Honor 10 Lite's cameras are punchy colors. The images look too vibrant and lively than they really are. And while it sometimes produces beautiful results like in this macro shot of an orange flower or this red one, but this oversaturation can be comical and jarring. Take a look at this image of a bunch of flowers on a flower pot. The leaves on the flower on the left hand side almost look a flat shade of green. You can also see that the leaves above all look overly bright. The camera isn't that good at capturing dynamic range. For example, in this shot, take a look at the window on the bottom left hand side. It is all black and all the details are blown away. However, I saw that the camera tries to compensate this weakness by bumping up the saturation of some subjects in the dark. For example, take a look at the scooter in the shade in this image. Its color looks so out of place. Now there are some positive aspects of the camera though. The shutter speed is fast. It can capture a moving vehicle with no blur, and this yellow van was probably moving at around 30 to 40 kph, but this camera captured it perfectly. Now this camera can produce some beautiful result in the evening like the one with this tower, but when the sun goes below the horizon, the images are filled with noise and don't look that good. The phone has a dedicated night mode built in, but you have to hold the phone steady for about 3 to 5 seconds to take a photo in this mode. So if you don't have a gimbal, you are more likely to get a blurry shot than a good one. For example, look at the picture of this scooter side by side. The one that is shot with night mode looks brighter but it's blurrier, so you'll be better off with the normal camera mode most of the times. The selfie camera is fine on the Honor 10 Lite, but I have one complaint with it. When you switch from the rear camera to the front camera, the camera software always takes you to the portrait selfie mode instead of a normal photo mode. And even when you choose photo mode, the software doesn't remember that and will take you to the portrait mode again next time. Now the one feature that you guys might want to know about this is the beauty mode. It softens the skin tone and makes your skin look more even and shiny. But if you don't like that feature, you can always turn the beauty mode to 0 and you'll be fine with it. So that was it for the Honor 10 Lite. It is available in Nepal for 24,990 and it is a good phone for the price. But the competition in 2019 is so fierce that there are a lot of good phones out there. If this phone had been released in 2018, this would have certainly made our top 4 list of phones to buy under 30,000. But right now there are phones like the Galaxy A30 with Super AMOLED display, larger RAM, larger battery, a good camera, a good performance. So the Honor 10 Lite is a good phone, but there are a lot of good phones out there and some of them are even better than the Honor 10 Lite. So that's it. So that's it for this video. Hope you guys liked it, and as always, like if you liked it, subscribe to our channel for further contents like this, and also hit that bell icon to get notifications. Until next time, namaste.